Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a piece of tech that tons of us have, but honestly not many of us really understand. The uninterruptible power supply, or UPS. Yeah, it's that quiet, unassuming box that probably sits under your desk, or maybe in a server room, just silently standing guard over your entire digital life. So let's dive in and figure out why this silent guardian is so incredibly important. I want you to picture this for a second. You're right in the zone, deep into a huge project for work. Maybe you're about to beat the final boss in a video game, and then, bam, everything goes dark. The screen just goes black. Instantly, you're thinking, what happened to all my unsaved work? Is my data corrupted? Did that just damage my expensive computer? It's that heart-stopping moment of panic that I think we've all felt at some point. The truth is, it's not just those complete blackouts that we have to worry about. The electricity coming from your wall outlet is, well, it's rarely perfect. You can get things like brownouts, which is when the voltage drops and you see your lights flicker or your devices act sluggish. Or you could get the opposite, spikes and surges, which are these sudden, intense jolts of electricity that can literally fry the sensitive components inside your electronics. These are the invisible enemies waging a constant war on your gear. So how in the world do you protect your valuable equipment from all that chaos? Well, you call in a guardian. So let's get to know the hero of our story today, the uninterruptible power supply. Okay, so at its very core, a UPS does two absolutely critical jobs. First, and this is the one everyone knows, it provides instant backup power from a battery the moment your main power cuts out. That gives you precious time to save what you're doing and shut down safely. But second, and this is just as important, it acts like a filter, a shield, protecting your equipment from all those nasty surges, spikes, and brownouts we were just talking about. And this image is a perfect way to visualize that second job. You see that jagged, messy, dirty power coming in from the utility company? A good UPS takes that, cleans it up, and what comes out is that perfect, smooth, stable sine wave on the right. That is what your sensitive electronics are actually designed to run on. So think of a UPS as more than just a battery. It's your own personal power conditioner. To really get how a UPS works its magic, we kind of need to pop the hood and see what's going on inside. It's really built around three key parts that all work together perfectly. First up is the charger, which is also called a rectifier. You can think of this part as the gatekeeper. It takes the alternating current, the AC power, coming from your wall socket, and it converts it into direct current, or DC power. Its main purpose is to keep that battery fully charged and ready to go at a moment's notice. And next, we have the heart of the entire operation, the battery. This is basically a reservoir of power. It stores all that DC energy that the charger provides, just holding it in reserve. The second the main power fails, this is what steps in to keep everything running. And finally, we have the inverter. Now, if the charger is the gatekeeper, the inverter is the translator. During an outage, it takes the DC power that's stored in the battery and skillfully converts it back into the clean, stable AC power that your computer, your monitor, and all your other devices actually need to run. So to put it simply, the charger turns AC into DC, and the inverter turns that DC back into AC. Now, it's really important to know that not all these guardians are created equal. UPS systems really come in three main flavors, and each one offers a totally different level of protection. So let's walk through these three levels and you'll see how they build on each other, from a basic standby unit all the way up to a full-on digital fortress. We'll start with the most common and frankly the most basic type you'll find, the offline UPS. You'll also hear this called a standby UPS. This little diagram here shows you exactly how it works. See that solid line for normal mode? Most of the time, your computer is getting power straight from the wall. The UPS is just kind of sitting there on standby, keeping its battery charged. But if the power fails, a transfer switch instantly flips over to the battery and the inverter. That's the dashed line for backup mode. The main advantage here is pretty obvious. It's the cost. These are by far the most affordable models. The trade-off, though, and it's a big one, is that they really only protect you from a total blackout. They can't actively do anything about brownouts or surges. Your devices are still basically exposed to all those everyday little voltage hiccups. Okay, so let's step it up a notch to level 2, the Line Interactive UPS. This is a much smarter kind of protector. See the new component in this diagram, that little box called the stabilizer? That is the game changer. What it does is constantly watch the incoming voltage. If it's too low, like in a brownout, it boosts it. If it's too high, like in a surge, it trims it back down. And it does all of this without ever having to switch over to the battery. The battery is only used for a complete blackout. So the key takeaway here is that with Align Interactive UPS, you're suddenly getting protection from both blackouts and those much more common voltage variations. This provides way better protection for your gear, though, yeah, it does come at a slightly higher price. And that brings us to the top tier, the absolute best protection you can get, the true online UPS. This thing is a fortress, and it's designed for critical systems where you can't even afford a millisecond of interruption. Now, look really closely at this diagram. There is no direct path from the incoming power to your equipment. None. The power always goes through the charger and the inverter first. This is called double conversion. What it means is your devices are completely, totally isolated from the grid. They are constantly running on perfect regenerated power from the inverter. The battery's always engaged, so if the power fails, there is zero transfer time. It's instantaneous. The benefit here is absolute. You get total protection from literally every single power problem you can think of. This is the gold standard. It's the ultimate guardian. And, as you've probably guessed, this level of performance, well, it comes with the highest price tag. So, how do you choose? This chart gives a great little summary. An offline UPS is probably fine for basic stuff like a home PC. A Align Interactive model is really the sweet spot for a serious home office or a small business server. And a true online UPS? That's essential for the mission-critical gear, like in data centers or for sensitive medical equipment. Okay, so just owning a UPS isn't quite enough. There are a couple of really important rules you need to follow to make sure your Guardian can actually do its job when you need it most. And this is the most important one. Remember the 70% rule. So if your UPS is rated for, say, 1,000 watts, you should never plug in more than 700 watts worth of stuff. This gives it the headroom it needs to handle sudden power demands, and it ensures the battery can last for its expected runtime. Honestly, overloading a UPS is the #1 reason they fail. And finally, a super important word on safety. A UPS is not just a heavy power strip. It is a serious piece of electrical equipment. You have to remember, there's a real risk of shock from the energy it stores in its capacitors, even when it's completely unplugged from the wall. The batteries can be a hazard, with spilled electrolyte, and its automatic controls can kick on when you least expect it. So please, always handle them with care and follow the manufacturer's instructions. So there you have it. From a simple standby unit to a true online fortress, the UPS is really the unsung hero that keeps our digital world safe and sound. It's that silent guardian protecting you from that next unexpected flicker of the lights. I guess the only question left to ask is your digital world ready for it?